basically his compensation is set in a guaranteed contract for the next 2 seasons. So I think that's great because he can just concentrate on his rehab and getting back on the field. We won't have any business to attend to during that time. We kind of did something similar with John Means, and I'm very happy for Felix and for us that that's out of the way. So happy to answer any questions right now.
How is he handling this overall? I'm sure there's some disappointment, but is he kind of braced for it?
He's a really tough dude. He's been through a lot in his life. Where he came from, 10 years in the minors, coming out of nowhere. The news when it happened and the day after it happened, we had a brief glimmer of hope that it wouldn't be torn. When we got the MRI results and heard from the doctors, it was really disappointing for everyone there. But he, credit to him, he got over it quickly and got back to work and immediately started focusing on the future. So he's doing awesome now. Like I said, this is unfortunately something that we all live with in baseball, and just bad timing for him and the team, but it's just temporary. Thank goodness, we have this surgery to fix this injury, and so it's just become basically a matter of time and some hard work, and you're back. You see what Means is doing.
Mike, I know you said it wasn't necessarily anything new, but did he feel okay after the sim game the other day?
Yeah, he felt okay, but we're talking about going to play the highest level of baseball in the world here the next few weeks, and just getting him into a competitive state and a recovery state between outings. It was a pipe dream to begin with, and it just seemed increasingly far-fetched. But I think it was responsible of everyone, including him, and admirable of him to want to try. He wanted to keep pitching, and the doctors thought this might be a case where there was a glimmer of hope we could pull that off. I think if we had 2 months left, we maybe could. But look, we're playing a playoff game here in a week, and to bum rush that, it doesn't make sense for anybody. So we're just going to go ahead and start getting this behind us.
Mike, do you expect this to affect how you guys approach the offseason in terms of the bullpen?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about that in the back of my mind, but we're so focused on preparing for the playoffs right now. It's not something we've had meetings about or starting to look at that stuff. I mean, we're laser focused on this playoff run.
Tyler Wells has been a closer for you in the past, and now he's closing again after starting. Do you look at him as a closer in the future for 2024, or is he a starter for next year?
I had no thought about it for 2024. I mean, he's proven this guy was almost an all-star starter in the first half. Obviously, he hit a wall, however you want to put it, but was not himself in the second half. So to take a starter and turn him into a reliever is usually something that we spend time talking about and planning. But he's going to be in the bullpen for the playoffs. I don't want to speak for Brandon, but he is a closing option in the playoffs, as he proved the other night, and he proved in 2021. And but we've got other guys too, and I think, like Brandon said, this is going to be pretty matchup and availability driven. It's a lot different when you have the best closer in the game on the top of his game. You kind of build your bullpen around that, and we don't have that anymore. And so what we do have is a lot of really talented pitchers and some guys that are equipped to be starting pitchers that, because of the playoff format, will be in our bullpen. So I actually think that's going to be nice because we have a lot of healthy starting caliber pitchers up and running right now on the team, and that's maybe something that we're going to try to lean into in the playoffs.
To that point, how do you feel like the team and the bullpen have handled the past month?
Awesome. I mean, it wasn't easy. We were patching it together some nights. We were fretting it between games some nights, but look back at the record and what happened, and they pulled it off. I mean, and it's been a revolving cast all year too. So I think you have to credit the culture in the pitching staff and the kind of pitching department here that those guys figured out a way to get us to this point. And I feel like we're in. We got some rest that we needed. There's more coming up. I think we're going to see these guys looking sharp next week.
Have you guys discussed the week between games, between Elias and tomorrow,
We've just had a big meeting about it. We've had meetings the last 2 days. I have a good idea what the plan is, but we also don't know who our opponent is. So we have kind of scenarios drawn up for either opponent. Without getting detail, it's safe to say, we'll be practicing here at Camden Yards quite a bit next week.
Mike, I just want to confirm, there's no chance that Felix could come back at the very end of next season if his recovery goes amazing?
I think mathematically there might be, but it's unusual, and I definitely don't want to set that expectation out there. And we're also not going to want to rush him. I think there would be some risk in artificially pushing for the end of next season. If it happens, great, but I would say odds are that we're going to want to use the winter time and just get him really right for 2025.
I just want to make sure as well, even if this had worked and he had come back and pitched for you guys in the postseason, he still would have gotten Tommy John no matter what after the postseason ended?
Yeah, that was always very probably going to be the outcome. He has a partial tear in his UCL. It's probably wise to fix that at some point if he wants to go back to being the Felix Bautista that we're used to. You're going to need to get that fixed. So I think we were willing to stall a couple weeks, kind of take a shot and see how quickly we could maybe get him into a serviceable condition for the postseason. But we all just looking at the calendar and where we were at with that and what all we would had to do, the sim games, and it just wasn't likely. And so let's get this over with was the conclusion. And I think it's the right one. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.